Hey, how's it going, people? It's the Black Rose here, and today we're going to review The Boys Season 5. So, yeah, a fitting end to a great show. Yeah, it wasn't spectacular, but yeah, it was good. Yeah, it satisfied me. So, the thing that I think I was most satisfied by was Homelander's defeat. That was great. Did a fantastic job of showing that without power, he's nothing. He's just, a whiny baby. Like, he didn't even really know how to fight, but, as soon as he lost his powers, he tried to throw that punch, Butcher just blocks it and schools him. Right. Yeah, without his powers, he's nothing. And, he was born with those powers. Like, he's never not had them, so, it was fitting. Right, and the right characters were in that fight. It was Kimiko, who, wanted to avenge Frenchie, but wasn't really revenge, whole thing was, the power of love, whatnot, whatever. But yes, so, that was a fitting character to put in the fight. Of course, Butcher, he's got to be there, and Ryan being involved as well. Yeah, the right characters fighting him. Yeah. So, yep, there's that. And so all the fights and, other special effects were good considering the budget limitations. Like Kripke was complaining that, they didn't get that great a budget, which, that's unfortunate. But considering what they had, I think the fights were good. Did all the stuff to the best of their abilities. I think the finale fight would have been better if it wasn't, in the Oval Office, if it had been outdoors. Maybe on the White House front lawn, like flying everywhere. But yeah, I get it. And, there is, a poetic theme to it being in the Oval Office, right? So, yep, there is that. And performances. So, I think a big part of what's always made this show so good is the performances. They managed to find some great actors to be in this. Of course, the classics, Anthony Starr's Homelander. He's a major find. He's a really good actor. I'm excited to see what show he does next. Maybe he's the protagonist in something. Maybe he does some, a different kind of role. Carl Urban is Butcher. Yeah, he was born to play that role. Really, that's the best casting of the show. He is excellent as Butcher. Yeah. So, and this particular season, want to also make sure to shout out Tomer Capone as Frenchie. Yeah, he got his tragic ends this season. And, he acted it out pretty well, said, I don't care anymore. I'm going to die a good guy. I'm not going to... I'm going to die with a smile on my face. So, love that performance. And Karen Fukara as Kimiko. So what was different about that character this season is the talking, which, it was kind of weird to get used to, but, it worked. She didn't feel like a different character. And when she stopped talking, once Frenchie had died, that regression, that was pulled off pretty well. Very, very pleased with that performance. And Cameron Crevetti as Ryan. Now that he's kind of grown up, coming to himself a little more, he's becoming a good actor, right? His initial confrontation with Homelander, kind of, you can tell he's emotional, but he's holding it back a little, trying to contain himself. Well done. So this season can kind of be broken down into three plots. There's their attempts to perfect the virus, then they shift to this quest for V1, then he gets to V1, and then becomes can we make Kimiko, can we give her soldier boys take away the powers thing. So I kind of felt that each new objective was just kind of decided upon too easily. It's just one conversation, all of a sudden, oh, we need to go find this Rocky person. That's what we need to do now. It's I feel like I needed to be eased into that a bit more. I'm, he's this new character I've never heard of. Now, all of a sudden, oh, he's exactly who we need. Really? It's needed a bit more there. More plan crafting. Then the worst one was, when they found the V1 vault empty, and they just looked around and were like, "Oh, bomb site's been here." Like, come on, that mystery was solved way too easily. Like, yeah, I could have gotten, much more interest surrounding that if they had to like figure out who it must be. But like, it's just, oh, it must be this guy. Another character I've never heard of. Now I'm expected to just, dive in on, oh, we need this person. All right, whatever. Right, and Homelander getting the V1 just kind of disrupted the whole season. Like, yeah, and I think part of that was like it just disrupted one too many of the arcs. And right, so Soldier Boy, like his reason for giving it to him was just kind of weak. He's just doing what Clara would want. Like, really, that I'm expected to just believe that and be okay with that. Like, yeah, like of all times for Sister Sage to be wrong about something, like, it just happens to be this really bad moment. Like, it's convenient. Like, really. So yeah, if that had been executed better, hadn't disrupted like that arc quite as much, like I would have been better, I guess. So yeah, now this show, it kind of ran into the same issue that the later seasons of Stranger Things did with the big cast, right? So the Gen V characters, they're really just a cameo. Like, they're barely in it, and they have like no significance. Yeah, it was a letdown. Like, we were all kind of thinking that Marie was going to be the fixer to everything, but nah, she was a non-factor, man. I don't think I remember even seeing her use her powers. She might have like once, but honestly, yeah, I don't remember it. Right, so yeah, like a lot of arcs just kind of ended up being too short because they were trying to do so much with this huge cast. Like, the Deep, he didn't really get much this season. Yeah, nothing really changed or evolved or was ever really very complicated about what he was doing this season. But yeah, like, it was good performance, a fitting end. Yeah, happy that Starlight's the one that took him out. That was fitting. Yeah, there wasn't much there. And Ashley, she ended up kind of going back to Homelander. Like, what's that? Like, her whole thing last season was she needed to escape because she felt she was in danger. And all of a sudden, like, nope. Like, what is that, man? That is one prediction I kind of got right. I predicted her powers would have something to do with her hair. I'm to give myself that one. I'd say that is correct. It was, the face on her head. What did have to do with her hair? Right. So, yeah, there was her. Yeah, Black Noir. That's kind of the same as Deep storyline. Not going to count those as two different things. And yeah, honestly, Starlight and Huey, I felt didn't really get much of an arc this season. But, I didn't really miss it. Honestly, I kind of feel like they've been explored enough. So, yep. Right, and the last thing is the ending could have converged on the theme of no one should be born with this kind of power a little better. That's Homelander's whole thing. Like, he was born to be this powerful superhero, and it was never fair to him or anyone else that he was born that way. So, yeah, and yeah, like, no one ever gave this final speech of this is the theme of the show, and here's what here's what we learned. No one ever really gave that speech, so that's what we got. And I think the reason for that was setting up spin-offs potentially. Yeah, money essentially. So yeah, and I'm open to spin-offs for this kind of show. We already got Gen V, which I loved. Right, so yeah, Soldier Boy got iced again, so yeah, they could be saving him for some sort of redemption show or like an anti-hero kind of story, maybe. Yeah, I've come to really like Jensen Ackles as an actor. I started watching Supernatural just because it was Kripke's show before this. I was took an interest in it. I just saw where they beat Lucifer, and I find out there's still 10 more seasons. I'm like, what happens after this? So yeah, I really liked that first season, and they were just chasing local legends. Like that was neat. But all this sequential demon stuff, it's a soap opera essentially. And it's good for what it is. I just don't think it's for me anymore. Right, but Jensen Ackles, yeah, like I vaguely remember like girls I grew up with really having crushes on him. Now, yeah, now I've seen the show that's based on. Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, Jared Padalecki's very good as well. Like his cameo this season, I guess it was a role, but it wasn't much. Yeah, it was acted well, but I mean, it was kind of overhyped. You know, he's in one episode, right? So, yep, I'm open to a Soldier Boy kind of spin-off, and I think the most intriguing character for a spin-off is actually Ryan. You know, maybe like his new thing is he finds lost soups, like maybe that Countess Crow person that MM let go, and you know offers them a chance to let their powers go. You know, with Kimiko's power, or be part of his new superhero thing. Right. Yeah, that's kind of the theme I wish we had gotten a bit more of there. Like, yeah, like, you know, it's kind of Tolkien-esque, you know, J.R.R. Tolkien. He always believed that there were certain people that you could trust with power, people that are just immune to greed for whatever reason, like Samwise Gamgee, Aragorn. Yeah, like it's a matter of the right people being in control. So, and I think Ryan can be one of those people. So, yeah, maybe that's something we could lean further into in future seasons. Right, so that's about all I have to say. But yeah, I really love this show, and yeah, I hope we get some spin-offs of it. I'm curious to see what Kripke does next. Yeah, he's done Supernatural, The Boys, is two major shows. Wonder what kind of thing he'd look to do next. So, yeah, can't wait to find out. So I'm going to score this season 7.5 out of 10. I'm going to be a little more generous than I was for Stranger Things. So, yep, that's all I have. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.